Hello and welcome to the Analog Leftie. My name is Elise. It's been a while since I last filmed, so I'm a little rusty and I'm not sure if I still know how to do this, but I recently got back from my holiday to Spain and Portugal with family, and I just had the absolute best time. The nature, the art, and architecture were super inspiring, and you can clearly see how the different cultures that came and went made their mark on everything. We definitely ate well. The food was just absolutely amazing. We were so spoiled, and the weather was a nice reprieve from the cold and wet Winnipeg weather. After reflecting on how I was able to use or not use the stationery supplies that I brought to the Philippines and the US last year, I decided to downscale what I brought for this trip. So, in terms of what I was writing on, I brought my September leather pocket size TN, and as you can see, it has seen some stuff, it has gone through things, lots of scratches, and it's actually looking a bit dry, so I might need to condition this at some point. But inside, I have here my field notes notebook where I was planning some of the itinerary and stuff. And while I was there, I was able to write a quick journal entry while I was at the airport because I had like a 6 hour layover. And then I also used it to track my expenses and also note down the list of people who I wanted to buy gifts for. The other thing that I have in here is my Hanamula travel sketchbook in the pocket size, which I got from the urban sketching workshop that I attended in September. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up there. But yeah, I wasn't really able to fill it up, and I wasn't able to draw on the scene because it wasn't really a sketching retreat. I was traveling with my family, but I did manage to find pockets of time to sneak in a few drawings here and there using the photos that I took. So to break the sketchbook in, I drew the tea and cookie that I had at the airport lounge because I was getting so bored during my 6 hour layover. And then the next drawing that I did was of the Pena Palace in Sintra. It's one of the seven wonders of Portugal and is a monument to neo-romanticism. I was able to draw this at our hotel while waiting for everyone to get ready. And then the next thing that I drew is the initiation well at the Quinta de Regalera, which was supposed to be used for rituals like maybe initiation of Templar Knights, especially because there's like the Knights Templar cross at the bottom. It also supposedly represents death and rebirth, whether you choose to go down to the depths of the earth or ascend towards the light. And the spiral staircase also has 9 levels, which also kind of alludes to Dante's 9 circles of hell. It was just amazing. It was mind-blowing. And I drew this on the plane from Lisbon to Barcelona, so you can see some of the shaky lines from the turbulence. And then the last thing that I drew is the lighthouse at Cabo da Roca, which is the westernmost point of mainland Europe, and I drew this when I was already back in Canada. But yeah, so that's what's inside this TN. In terms of writing and drawing implements, I again brought my trusty dollar store pencil case, and inside, let's take a look at what I have. Oh my gosh. So I just have an assortment of watercolor brush pens and pigment brush pens, and oh wow, I didn't realize how much uni stuff I have in here. Let's just see. I have my Kurotoga mechanical pencil, and then my Jetstream ballpoint pen. This is the best ballpoint pen ever. My Unizento, and a Style Fit multi pen in several different colors. And then I just have my Sakura Pigma Micron and Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen. And I also brought a water brush pen that I didn't use. But yeah, all of these pens and brush pens pack in my dollar store pencil case, and I think these two together was a very streamlined setup that I was able to use. Before leaving for our trip, I tried doing some research on the local stationery scene and specific locally made stationery products, and I felt like I was successful in going to the places that I wanted to go, especially in Lisbon. And I'm really grateful for the support of my family with my hobbies. And our first stationery stop was a Vida Portuguesa located in the Time Out Market in Lisbon. So I found out about the shop because I was looking specifically for a Portuguese made notebook and they were carrying it. And luckily, we were also going to the Time Out Market anyways, so it all worked out. A Vida Portuguesa is a shop that offers Portuguese lifestyle goods, including food, homeware and decor, and even stationery and art supplies. So, the notebooks that I'm talking about are made by Papelaria's Emilio Braga, and these notebooks are exclusive editions for A Vida Portuguesa. And if you haven't heard of Emilio Braga, they have a long history dating back to 1918, originally making notebooks for accounting and commercial purposes. I believe they were also producing all of the stationery for Pan Am Airways in the 50s and 60s. So I really wanted to get these notebooks because they were deeply part of Portuguese heritage and they're just absolutely beautiful. So I got two notebooks, one in the small size and the medium size. I believe this is A6 and this one is A5. But these notebooks are entirely handmade. The cover is vintage Portuguese wrapping paper with beautiful prints. Like this one is very reminiscent of wood grain, and the smaller one reminds me of those ceramic tiles that you can find all over Portugal. And the corners are bound with fabric, and it has painted four edges, which is just beautiful. I mean, look at that. That's absolutely beautiful. And the pages of these notebooks are blank. They are blank pages, but they also come with a guide with lined and grid rulings that you can put behind the pages, and you should be able to see them when you are writing. And I'm just super excited to use these notebooks. These are like amazing and beautiful. The next items that I wanted to show you are these pencils made by Viarco. So Viarco is another Portuguese brand with deep roots dating back to 1907, and they remain as Portugal's only pencil factory. I got a couple of these bicolor Olympico pencils, which are for sketching. Unfortunately, I dropped this one and broke the lead, so I had to sharpen it with a knife. Um, but yeah, I have to find a sharpener that would actually feed these pencils in. And they're supposed to be usable on wood, stone, and fabric, as they are professional grade pencils. And then I also got a pencil from the Vintage Collection, which is a re-edition of their products and packaging from the 40s to the 60s. I held myself back from buying an entire box because I know I just wouldn't be able to use them. But yes, this is a nice souvenir type of pencil. So I'm not sure if I'm really gonna use this for writing, but we'll see. And then the last one that I got is just a notepad for a Vida Portuguesa with an elastic and a pencil, and yeah, you can never go wrong with a notepad. The paper quality is actually nice, so I'm also really excited to use this one. Our next stationery shop was Papelaria Fernandes in Rua Aurea, a few blocks away from Rua Augusta, which is the famous shopping and dining street in Lisbon. And I found out about Papelaria Fernandes from Paulo at ODE YouTube channel. And if you haven't seen his videos, he has an amazing collection of Caveco fountain pens. Go check them out. Anyway, established in 1891, Papelaria Fernandes offers a wide variety of stationery, school and office supplies, and even art products. So I'd say this is a more traditional stationery shop where you might go for back to school shopping. The front part of the store has all the stationery stuff like the journals, the fountain pens, and like washi tapes and that stuff. They actually have some Japanese brands in there. And then the back part of the shop have more of the school and office and art supplies. I looked into their fountain pen cases and they had a huge variety of brands like Lamy, Pelican, Cross, Faber-Castell, and I actually looked at the Pelican Noble Jazz Elegance fountain pens because Pelican hubs were coming up, and they were the only Pelican fountain pens at an entry-level pricing. However, I did not end up liking how they handled, even if I could get a fountain pen and roller ball set at an affordable price. And then I looked at the case to the left and I saw the Schaefer Coffee Edition fountain pens. And I ended up getting myself a Schaefer 100 Coffee Edition. Just look at that. I love the brown ombre, and it even has a cute coffee cup on the finial, if the camera would show this well. But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, and I actually like how there's a little more heft to it, and the nib was very unique. I haven't seen a nib like this. It's very concave, and right now I did have this loaded up with the black cartridge that came with it, but I'm definitely gonna be making a separate video about this pen at some point. In addition to the Schaefer fountain pen, I also got another Emilio Braga notebook. I think this might be in a B6 size, so this is how it compares to the other notebooks that I got. So, yeah, I have Emilio Braga notebooks in three different sizes. But yeah, this is one of their more standard notebooks made for Papelaria Fernandes, and it definitely gives off that old school ledger vibe, especially with the sticker label in the front. But as you can see, it still has that painted foredge, which is amazing. And I love that it's wrapped in plastic, so it's gonna be well preserved, and I don't need to rush into using this. But yeah, the lady who helped me with checking the fountain pens was so kind and super patient as I tried out all sorts of different things. I spoke zero Portuguese and she spoke little English, but we made it work somehow. I think some Spanish words seem to be the common reference point, and I just loved working things out with her. And she even wrapped my fountain pen as a gift. So, shopping at Papelaria Fernandes was definitely a great experience. Next, we head to Barcelona, and on our first full day there, we went to Park Güell and the legendary Sagrada Familia. Basically, lost my mind as an art enthusiast because I got immersed in the ingenuity of Antoni Gaudi. He was 31 when he took over as the chief architect of the Sagrada Familia, and I don't even know what I was doing at 31 years of age. But anyway, I got from the museum shop a pocket notebook with soft cover and elastic, and it has a faux wood grain texture. And in the cover, it has the Calvet armchair, one of Gaudi's iconic pieces. And at the back, it just has Gaudi, Barcelona. So this is a nice souvenir type stationery. And not a stationary item, but I got myself a tin of mint with a stained glass design on the cover, and you can find stained glass surrounding the Sagrada Familia. And I thought it would be nice to get this because it would be a nice storage for my needed eraser. So yeah, that's my haul from the museum shop. Our last stationary stop for this trip was Raima, the largest, if not one of the largest stationery stores in Europe. Located at the heart of the Gothic Quarter, Raima is a multi-level stationery and art store inside a charmingly decorated building dating back to the 1500s. Other than the outside, I unfortunately wasn't able to take any photos or videos. I'm a bad vlogger, guys. But yeah, we got there at 8:30 p.m., just 30 minutes before they close. So I also just really wanted to focus on browsing. It was a huge store and each floor was incredible. So the first floor was dedicated to stationery, so the journals, planners, and like the washi tapes and stickers would be there. They also had a section for Travelers Company products. The next floor are the writing tools, and I like that they have a wide variety of brands. Like they had Y Studio there, they had Caveco, so just different brands from all over the world you can find. And on that floor, you also have some lifestyle and home goods like leather bags and jackets. And then the next floor up was just all the papers, like any paper you may need will be there for crafting, for fine art. And they have a workshop there where I think they cut the papers to your required size. And then you go up another floor and it's just all the art supplies: paints, inks, pastels, markers, watercolor. anything you may need will be on that floor. And then the last floor at the top is like an open patio for, I think they have a cafe or a bar up there. And unfortunately, we weren't able to go up there. But yeah, it was a huge store and it was amazing. It's really a shame that I wasn't able to take any photos or videos. But if you go check out Raima's listing in Google Maps, a lot of people have uploaded pictures and videos there. So just go and check those ones out. Because we didn't have a lot of time to make things efficient, I started shopping from the top going down. They actually have a unique checkout system there. So once you've gotten everything you need at a specific floor, you go to that floor's counter and they will take your items and they give you a ticket stub for those items. They will then send your items down to the checkout counter at the ground level through a dumbwaiter. And then when you're ready to check out, you just present the ticket stubs from each floor you got an item from, and they will be ready at the checkout counter. Isn't that cool? I wonder if the dumbwaiter was part of the original building, because that would be amazing. I didn't get a lot of stuff from Raima, probably because we didn't have enough time and decision paralysis. It was just such a huge store, so honestly, I think that worked out well. It prevented me from spending way too much money. But I knew that I wanted to get a fountain pen, so I ended up getting myself a Kaveco Al Sport in anthracite. Look at that. It's such a beautiful shade of gray. It's not your usual silver compared to the clip. Like, it's a beautiful pen. And I really think it's best to buy fountain pens in person because you can get a feel of how it handles and you don't have to deal with the logistics of sending things back if they don't work out well for you. And for this pen, I didn't experience the same problems that I had with the Hongdian M2. Like, it's not back heavy even if it's posted. And yeah, I will definitely make a separate video for this pen at some point. But yeah, I just love this pen. And then lastly, more art related than stationery, I got a few Winsor & Newton Cotman half pans to add to my travel watercolor palette. I am very keen to learn and do more urban sketching with watercolors. So I got myself Payne's Gray. And then this is Prussian Blue. And then the last one is Dioxazine Purple. And I think these colors would fill in the gaps of my watercolor palette. So yeah, that's some art related stuff from Raima. And that is my recap / stationery and art haul from my Portugal and Spain holiday. Well, I feel like my honeymoon period with stationery shopping is coming to an end. I love that a lot of these things I got from the trip were representative and unique to the places I visited. I also love that I got to learn about local history and culture through stationery, and it gives these purchases meaning. I want my future purchases to be the same. And if you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate your time and you for being here. Thank you for watching, take care, and I hope to see you on the next one.